So before we get this video started, I just want to say something that I know the majority of my subscriber base is not going to watch this video, they're not going to care about this, but for the 2% of people that do, I want to really give my thoughts about the future of God because we have got some interesting news that I thought we wouldn't get for a longer time. So last month was TGS, right? If you don't know, it's Tokyo Game Show, which is basically Japanese E3. A lot of Japanese gaming companies and other, I guess, no, it's just companies that involves games and stuff. It's not like E3 with technology, I don't think. But that event goes on, and those developers and companies discuss, what new games they're working on, the ones that are coming out, the ones that are just being revealed for the first time. And there was a few that I wanted to see. There was Valkyria Azure Revolution, I think that's what it's called. The Valkyria Chronicles spin-off game. I thought we'd get more news on that. We did. I'm still in on it. And then I thought, before the event went on, I'm like, I'd like to see some Gladiator news, maybe something new for the series, but there's no way it's gonna happen, right? Turns out we actually get Gladiator news. We don't just get one announcement from Gladiator, we actually get two announcements in that same event. So what was first announced was something called Youre Online, which is a mobile phone game, and it's a Gladiator game on your phone basically. It's got everything is touch controls, and it's basically looks like the PSP version of it because it's not going to be that technically marvelous, or I don't know how else to say that. It's not going to be like the PS4 game. It's just the bare minimum of what Gladiator is, equating to, say, the PSP titles. And it surprisingly looks well. There's some animations lacking. There's some visual charm that was lost. But all in all, it's Gladiator on your phone. Your grandmother can play this on her phone if she wants to. She can kill that Chiyu on her phone, tapping that screen if she wants to. Now, there was no word if we will get this localized. To be honest, I would like it, but I don't see it happening because Gladiator did sell well over here when it got quote unquote resurrected to overseas. But it would be a smart business decision because smartphone games can help promote the next Gladiator project that they're actually working on, which is the second announcement that Project G.E announced, which is, and there's no confirmation name for it. They basically said they made a trailer discussing that Fenrir HQ has gone to heck. Everything is messed up. It's been years, I believe, years or days since anyone has heard from HQ. And from the trailer, from the look of the trailer and everything just looks very messed up. Now, I haven't to this point beat Gladiator 2 Rage Burst. I'm currently live streaming that on my channel, plug. But I assumed that the Origami Threat was not taken care of because I would figure they didn't want it to tie up like that with just two games essentially. So I figured that they would kind of leave that ending of whatever Gladiator 2 Rage Burst goes for kind of open-ended for maybe a potential sequel. And I hope that a sequel game would come one day. I didn't think we'd get news this soon because overseas we just got the game, in August, right? Yeah, late August, summer 2016. Ooh. But in Japan, they had Gladiator 2 Rage Burst released in 2015. So after Rage Burst 2 and after Resurrection, because both of those games came out in 2015, they've had 2 years just about to work on this new project, Gladiator game that they're working on. And all we got from it is that there is a new origami that's showing off in the shadows. It sounds all metallical. It has I believe 7 tails or something like that. And it looks really, really cool. It looks like maybe they'll be using, for sure, better hardware, better graphical engines and everything. Maybe an Unreal Engine, I don't know. Seems like more Japanese games are going for that more realistic approach. Though the developer, or I should say the producer, the Gladiator director, it's kind of hand in hand, says that he kind of doesn't want his games, if he makes another Gladiator game, He doesn't want it to be very realistic looking. He actually says that he wants it to be more, and I quote, actually I think there's a video clip of this saying it, so I'll let him say this.
そしてもう一つJRPG の未来があるとしたら、やはり、グラフィックのルック、この進化かなと思ってます。
So I think one more in the future of the JRPGs is the improvement of the graphic style.
はい、欧米のトリプル A タイトルが目指さない、日本らしい変態グラフィックを目指して今も、開発していますよ。
Yeah, our direction of the graphic is not real one, not real Western style one. We want to improve and evolve our graphic style in the hentai style.
さあ、時間になってしまったようなので、このぐらいにしておきますが。
Yeah, so I don't speak Japanese, so but what I got from that, he essentially wants to make it look more like a hentai, which I don't know what to make of that. I guess he wants it to look more anime-ish. I don't know how to perceive that, but he doesn't want it to be realistic, say, I don't know, Dark Souls or some other Kobane company, or some other game that's really realistic. But he doesn't want to aim for that. He wants to aim it more, I guess, in the anime manga style, which I did like. I actually really like the style in Rage Burst 2, so maybe he'll continue with that style. It'll improve some bits and pieces there. Maybe improve the animation quality, because the animations were kind of stilted a little bit while they were more fluid from the original God Eater Burst on PSP. They took it a step further with what they could do on the PSP hardware with God Eater 2, and then, well, they didn't really do much for Rage Burst 2 other than maybe up the textures and everything. But still, it looked fine, even though it is dated by now standards. But the reason why I think this title, this new project, might be called God Eater 3 is, for one, Japan hasn't seen a new God Eater entry, a brand new God Eater entry in, well, yeah, a brand new God Eater entry technically since 2013. God Eater 2 came out in 2013, and Rage Burst is essentially an expansion. Yeah, it's basically an expansion, and the PS4 version is like the HD expanded version of that, because the version came out on Vita while excluding the PSP version. So, I mean, if you want to look at it from that point, Rage Burst, God Eater 2 Rage Burst is an HD expanded version of the original God Eater 2 on PSP and PlayStation Vita. So, technically, it's been 3 years at this point of recording since a fresh new God Eater game has come out. So, of course, ideas were rambling on there saying, you know, okay, we got all these story elements. We don't know how far in the future this is going to take place. We don't know who's going to be in this new game. All we got from that trailer is essentially Soma may or may not be in that game, so it could be maybe a year after Rage Burst 2, 2 years, 3 years, maybe a decade later. But from the sound of Soma's voice, in the Japanese voice, it doesn't sound like it takes that much place after. Does that make sense? That place after? You get what I mean. But one concern I have about this potential God Eater 3 is it going to be given the burst treatment? Now, if you don't know what I mean by burst treatment, essentially, throughout the God Eater history, there has been God Eater Burst, God Eater 2, God Eater 2 Rage Burst, and the expanded HD edition of the original God Eater Resurrection. Now that is an exception because that was a 5th year anniversary title, but essentially the first game got a burst expansion, the second game got a burst expansion, leaving the first initial one, you know, bare bones. You know, here is a story, here is new characters, here's new weapons, you know, go crazy. Now, they could easily do this for God Eater 3, right? So, I want them not to do that because I feel it will, A, make for longer development, especially if we are to be expected to get this, say, overseas like we just did with God Eater 2, which I assume we will. Numbers sold very well. I mean, well to my standards anyways, comparing this as a niche game. But if, say, this new project gets revealed, say, or gets released, say, next year, 2017, we might not get this till late 2018. Now, my assumption for the original, why we never got the original God Eater 2 on PSP and PlayStation Vita, those two systems were out in America and everywhere else. I'm going to mainly talk about America because, you know, I live in America. But I assume we didn't get those because A, the PSP was not selling at that time. B, not a lot of people had the Vita. Essentially, the player base, the install base of both of those systems at that time when those two games came out, or that game came out, it wasn't there. Bandai Namco of Japan, whoever's in charge of that, they didn't think it was a good idea to actually release those games because Burst didn't sell so well, considering it was released on the end of the life cycle of the PSP, basically. But who knows, in Japan it might be a good marketing strategy, it might be a good idea. Actually making a phone game to promote God Eater to, say, other people who have never heard of the series is actually a really smart idea, and it's even a smarter idea if it gets overseas. Because now, there's no word if this is free to play or not, but if it is free to play, God Eater Online, which is a online God Eater game you can play with your friends, as long as you have internet connection, you know, it's a very smart promotion, and more games nowadays are being used to promote, you know, their intellectual properties. For example, Super Mario Run, that game is going to be used to basically promote whatever new Mario game that Nintendo is going to be releasing, say in the next year or two. So phone games, and they've been doing this for years, I believe, they are ways to promote games, you know, the bigger games that are coming in, you know, saying like, hey, you like this game on your phone? Well, there's a better game coming out on the console, so why don't you pick up this console and pick up this game so you can enjoy the experience, but even more. Overall, I don't know. I mean, they could be going with the burst route. I personally don't want it to. I'm sure it will sell great in Japan with the standard edition, because burst editions are basically expanded stories and characters, maybe some tweaked mechanics. Basically DLC, $20 worth of DLC, but it takes more development, of course, because it's stuff that's developed after the base game. It has its own ending and everything. It's its own section of the game, essentially. But let me know what your guys' overall thoughts are. I don't usually do videos like these. I do want to express myself a little more. I want to actually say what I think. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I don't want this having a burst option, because I feel like this, if it gets a burst edition, it's going to take longer for everyone else to get it, because you know they're not going to release that base package overseas. They're gonna wait. If they're smart, and if they are gonna make a burst package, they are going to wait for us. They're going to wait for the burst package to be developed and then localize that and then distribute it everywhere, because that's the smart thing to do, because that is the package. And if that does happen, well, it's gonna be all over again, where you know, us fans have to wait on the wayside and look at those trailers, look at those Japanese trailers, like, yeah, that looks cool. Too bad we won't be getting that for a while. It's gonna happen anyways whenever the next trailer comes out, but that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for the 2% that have been watching this. I know it's kind of rambling, but I don't know. I just feel like rambles have to happen sometimes in order to get all my thoughts out. I just think from the God Eater Online's perspective, looks great. God Eater 3, man, it has to happen. You had 3 origami slashes in that flag. The producer himself, when the event was going on, had a number 3 shirts on it. So it's crazy. They're promoting God Eater Online, and it seems like they're going to be using that to help gauge sales and interest for God Eater 3. I don't know what else it could be besides God Eater 3. It doesn't seem like it'll be Offshoot 2, right? It's not going to be that. I don't think it's what I mean by poor hentai. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see if I can do more discussion videos like this. I do want to do them, and let me know if you guys are opposed or against this. If you do never want me to talk again, that is perfectly fine. So until then, thank you all for watching, and if you do like this, and I guess do the usual YouTube stuff and share and like, is that what YouTubers do? You can go ahead and do that. Definitely tell me your opinions down below, and again, this is gonna be the third time I'm trying to end this off. I will see you in the next video. Time to play God Eater 2.